Good morning, karibu sana to Morning Cafe. It is Wednesday. That means we are almost coming to the end of the week. We have 197 days into the year, 168 days left. Hadi tumalize 2025. My name is Ann Odida, karibu sana, and it's my pleasure to welcome Eric Munene to the show. Good morning, Eric.
Well, thank you very much for welcoming me. Although the producer had promised something more than this.
It will come.
Chai ya wageni.
It will come, lazima.
I've heard you mention about the days.
Yes.
To the end of the year. How are you with your resolution so far?
So far, so good. We are cruising nicely.
Cruising nicely.
We will come back and review. Tukifika around, Fred anatucounting how many days to Christmas. So if you're talking about 197 days, so in Amanisha, we're like 193 days thereabout to Christmas.
Wow.
Usually we do that Christmas countdown. But on the State of the Nation, what do you have in store for us today?
Well, today we're expecting Joe Nyotu, the Muranga Senator, who of course will have Zahir Janda, who's the MP for Nyaribari Chache, Danson Mungatana, Senator Tana River, Beatrice Elachi, the MP for Dagoretti North. We'll be discussing a lot on State of the Nation. There's a lot to discuss about.
Yes.
A lot of conversations going on in the country. There's the intergenerational conclave proposed by former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. There's a lot of talk about it. There's the political class on this side and the electorate on this side,
Gen Zs.
Especially the Gen Zs who are saying time for talk is over.
Absolutely. So that will be coming your way starting 6:30, and then later on, being a Wednesday today, it's Relationship Wednesday, we'll be having Richard Ziwa Zimbalist, a counselor, and of course Marcin Zuki, a psychologist, and the mind advocate. And we'll be talking about trauma after toxic relationship or narcissistic abuse. They say you are who you are. So does toxicity mirror who you are? So they'll be here to tell us all about that. But let's cross over the region now and take a look at the regional dailies. We start straight away in Uganda. Government releases 17 trillion shillings. This is Ugandan money. Much of the money to cater for pre-election activities and services. Ugandan elections gaining momentum there ahead of the elections come 2026. They say the government has released 17 trillion shillings, and of course much of this will cater for pre-election activities and services. Kama kawaida, Museveni is on the front page of the New Vision, and the same Museveni commissions Kigo, Carpentry Village and Skilling Center, right here of course with his wife Janet Museveni. Kama kawaida, he's always on the front page of the New Vision. And
I can see the race for the woman MP seat in Kampala is also coming in hot. Who will take the Kampala woman MP seat in 2026 polls? That's a story, of course, a lot of people regionally are going to be interested in. What do we have the other? That story
is on page 10, the one for women representatives. Yes. Other stories here, NRM sacks 67 officials, issues election rules. That one is on page 7. For a very long time, Uganda, they were so low-key on matters politics.
Yes.
But as you can see, politics gaining momentum there. Ngamba chimps get birth control implants.
Quite an interesting story.
Chimpanzees wanaanza kupatiwa birth control hapo. That's the New Vision. Let's cross over. Still in Uganda, Daily Monitor.
NRM draws the line on primaries. Why are we talking about NRM only? Are there other parties in Uganda really? Anyway, National Resistance. And whatnot. Okay. So the National Resistance Movement Party Electoral Commission chairperson, they also have an electoral commission, interestingly. That is Mr. Tanga Odoi, warns against ferrying of voters, violence, and use of outdated voter registers. Odoi says tough disciplinary action will be taken against the culprits who will be found, of course, guilty. There's the issue of numbers, the old registers. The old registers have also been withdrawn and should not be used under any circumstances. That's what they say. Only newly compiled voters' registers will be used. What about the voting, Odida?
Village assemblies start at 10 a.m. and queue behind candidates at 12 o'clock midday, and voting will end at 2 p.m. today. Now, 72,000 is the number of villages, 18.5 million number of voters, 80,000 number of declaration forms. NRM draws the line on primaries. That's the story there. Other stories here. 20 officials named in 19 billion shillings education scandal in Uganda.
And poachers become protectors of animals. But right now, I think the election fever is really gaining momentum in Uganda. But I think that story, 20 officials named in 19 billion shillings education scandal, that is on page 2 of the Daily Monitor, is a big story worth following up on.
Kanyihamba, from remote Kanungu to UK and cabinet. That story is on page 8. And road to 2026, of course, General Moses Ali's camp scoffs at critics, says he is fit. That story is on page 7. They say the camp of a second deputy prime minister and that is Adjumani West constituency MP, General Moses Ali, has scoffed at critics who are urging him to step down from elective politics. That story, you can read more on that on page 7.
It's an interesting story. I've seen a lot of clips of General Moses Ali doing rounds on Twitter, so you can know if it's his communications team doing that, or trying to show that he's fit, or it is his detractors, the supporters. Of course, his supporters say that he's up to the task of being elected to parliament to complement several uncompleted tasks for his electorate. And then just down there, there's a caricature, the lizard. To them, old is gold. Wow, timely. Just below that story on General Moses Ali's fitness. Yes,
but Ugandan politicians are very old, by the way, including the president, who is still vying for presidency next year.
All right.
So Uganda, those are the dailies in Uganda. Let's cross over to Tanzania. We start off with the Citizen. Why Tanzania is EU's strategic partner in Africa. Cyprus Foreign Affairs Minister says the European Union is committed to strengthening its relations with Tanzania as the two sides mark 50 years of cooperation. And Dr. Constantine Kombes, that is the Cyprus Foreign Affairs Minister, says Tanzania is making excellent progress on all fronts, but like any growing economy, there are challenges to navigate. Regulatory frameworks and tax policies were identified as areas needing improvement.
Well, there's also a big story there. SGR linked to double cargo volumes at Kuala Dry Port. They're saying the containerized cargo transported to Kuala via block trains is expected to increase from 20 to 40 containers per day after the facility is linked with Dar es Salaam port. That's via this SGR connection, which is expected to become operational next month, that is August. Then varsity admission opens amid sweeping curriculum reforms. That's a story on page 3 of the Citizen.
Cement glass makers plea of a rising production cost. Manufacturers yesterday outlined several factors they say are driving up production costs and, of course, threatening the sustainability of local industries in Tanzania. They asked the government to act swiftly to safeguard jobs, competitiveness and industrial growth in the country. On the top strip, what envisaged national information policy will aim to change and improve? And of course, matters football. French coach looks as set for young Africans' job. Those are the regional dailies this morning. Let's take a look at the local dailies. People Daily, Kenya's political forks boxed is the main headline there on the front page of the People Daily.
Yep.
The Standard.
Reign of an anarchy. Yesterday, Interior CS Kipchumba Murkomen issued a very strongly worded statement about what has been happening in the last few weeks
in regards to protest.
Months. Yes.
All right. Daily Nation, scandal of stolen free school funds.
And the Star, what do they have here? Police fired from ambulance during Sabasaba probe.
All right.
Wow.
Taifa Leo, shule zalowa madeni, and we'll be back to take a look at the local dailies in depth. But let's take a look at the weather situation. It's quite warm in Nairobi this morning. So we start off in the coastal area. This is Mombasa, 24 degrees as we speak, feels like 26. Partly cloudy day, highs of 27 degrees. Yes. Precipitation in Mombasa, 1.4 millimeters. It's likely to rain starting 10 a.m. all the way to 12 for just 3 hours. Yeah. But holiday weather, it's holiday weather in Mombasa. Let's go to Nyanza area, Kisumu.
What do we have in Kisumu? Kisumu feels like 18 degrees right now. What about the precipitation?
Precipitation in Kisumu, 1.1 millimeters, highs of 27 degrees. Partly cloudy day. Let's go over to Baringo.
Baringo, 22 degrees, but feels like 25 degrees. We'll have highs of 33 degrees, quite hot there in Baringo. And the precipitation, 0.9 millimeters.
Very minimal rain in Baringo today. Muranga, 16 degrees, feels like it. Mostly cloudy day, highs of 23 degrees. Precipitation in Muranga, 1 millimeters. Tukienda Mayakos, 13 degrees this morning, feels like it.
Yes.
Cloudy day.
Yeah, highs of 24 degrees.
21, highs of 21
Oh, 21 degrees. Thank you for that.
Precipitation here, 0.6 millimeters.
Yes.
Very minimal rain as well. How about Garissa?
Garissa, the weather now is 24 degrees, but feels like 26. Going to have highs of 32.
33.
Oh, 33.
Yes, precipitation here, 0.2 millimeters, a cloudy day. And finally, the city
Nairobi.
under the sun. Nairobi.
What the city under the sun feels like. Feels like 14 degrees. Do you feel like 14 degrees right now?
It does. I feel a little bit warmer today. It's quite warm. I'm in a studio. I'm in a studio.
Definitely. So 14 degrees, highs of 22.
Yes.
Precipitation, 1.2 millimeters. We expect some few showers here and there. Yep.
Yes. A cloudy day as well. So it's around 13 minutes past the top of the hour. Let's take a look at the traffic situation. Major tributaries to town. Tuangalia kuna kaje. We start off here.
Take you to school, work, or whatever destination, like the good people that we are.
You can see something here.
Yes.
The Muthaiga interchange, there's a snarl up here already. It's red, tayari. Red, and of course matatus. And if you go way back, Thika Road clear, Survey clear, Allsops clear, Garden City Mall, usually it's yellow by now. It's clear, but there's something there around Kasarani area, Kasarani Mwiki, building up slowly on your way to town. And coming back here, the Muthaiga interchange, of course there's something.
The Muthaiga Square.
Muthaiga Square thereabout. Kiambu Road clear, so I think this problem comes from Thika Road down there. Ama hizi ni matatu zimejikusanya tu hapo, because the roads going way back to Kiambu Road and of course Thika Road
interestingly.
Are clear. Muranga Road, clear roads there. Westlands, Waiyaki Way, very clear. Nothing to report at this hour. As you can see, let's take a look at the eastern area, eastern side of town. Clear as well, not much. Mama Lucy Hospital, hapa usually kuna kwanga na some traffic. It's clear today. Hizi ni matatu zimesimama tu hapo. Nothing to report about at the eastern side of town. If we go down Manyanja Road, clear this morning. These are usually trouble spots.
Outer Ring looks clear.
Building up slowly.
Except for the area near Quickmart further?
Yes, something here, busy area around the further area, Embakasi area as well, Airport North Road. If you're heading to town, then there's something there. Busy area, remember. That's the traffic situation. 15 minutes past 6. Let's take a look at the quote of the day. Optimism is our happiness magnet. If you stay positive, good things and good people will be drawn to you. All right, let's take a look at the local dailies in depth now. We start off with the People Daily, Kenya's political folks boxed. And they say here, Ruto's resilience mirrors the doctrine espoused by Niccolo, is it Machiavelli?
Machiavelli, yes.
Machiavelli in The Prince, that a successful leader must be both lion and fox, fierce when needed and cunning when necessary. But how long can he do it? That's the question the People Daily are asking right here on the front page. And this story has been covered on page 4 intensively or extensively.
And I imagine all the editors saw is what is happening right now. Quite a surprising constituency coming out very strongly, saying that they do not care whether you are on the government side or the opposition side or the government opposition side. They are them. They are just them. They're not the political class. So that's why I think they came up with this headline, Kenya's political fox boxed. All right. On the top strip, most polluted estates in the country. Tuangalie tu ndani tujue hizi estates ni zipi. If you see your estate here, they're here. Umoja, Kibos, Molem and Railways, most polluted estates. And experts also concerned that lack of implementation of existing policies to avert air pollution and open banning of hospital waste could lead to antimicrobial resistance. That story has been covered on page 6. Other stories here, how ministries spent billions in non-existent schools and learners. This is quite interesting. And this story has been covered on page 8. They say, Auditor General Nancy Gathungu has unearthed shocking details of how the government sent billions of shillings to non-existent schools and ghost learners. The revelations came on a day Gathungu termed the capitation model as not equitable. A special audit done on capitation and infrastructure grants in schools between 2020 and 2024 shows ghost students in 723 out of 1,039 sampled schools were overfunded to the tune of 3.7 billion shillings, following variances between the actual number of students enrolled and those registered under the National Education Management Information System, that is NEMIS. How ministries spent billions in non-existent schools and learners. That story has been covered on page 8. That's quite sad.
And finally here on page 2, the last times of Rigiji satirist KK Mwenyewe passes on.
Yeah, a young comedian.
Yesterday.
Yeah, very young comedian. Gone too soon.
That story is on page 2, and that's the People Daily.
Well, the Standard, the reign of anarchy. From burnt hospitals to brazen looting, Kenya is spiraling into a state of orchestrated anarchy, fueled not by criminals in the shadows, but by power-hungry elites in plain sight. Now, as goons terrorize citizens and vigilantes rise in retaliation, the government issues threats with one hand and shields allies with the other. With the 2027 polls looming, what the country is witnessing isn't just unrest, it's a chilling rehearsal. Wow, a chilling rehearsal. That's quite interesting and scary as 2027 approaches. So, in numbers, 42 is the number of those killed on June 25th and July 7th. This is the government's account, with the activists saying at least 57 died. And of course, other pressure groups have disputed that number. 600 people is what the CS says were injured in the protests. The CS also adds that the bulk of those injured, that is 496, are police officers. Also quite, has also been contested by some pressure groups. And then 1,500 is the number of those in police custody arrested in retaliation to the demos, while majority were released. 121 faced charges ranging from terrorism to other charges.
All right, and on the inside pages, if we just take a look at it, court declares state takeover of Gatoto School in Mukuru illegal. Court finds twins legal heirs of ex-minister Shitanda. Oh, wow. How officers shot senior detective's son walking home on Sabasaba Day. Tears as girl killed by stray bullet is laid to rest. This is the young girl who was killed in their house.
Yeah, that was
area, just watching TV.
Yesterday I was on the desk and this story almost made me teary. It
really,
was quite sad and moving.
It's very sad.
Especially seeing her classmates and schoolmates, you know, taking the center stage in the whole event. It was really, really sad. The tears there, quite sad. A young life taken just like that, 12 years.
How ghost students and schools gobbled up 3.7 billion shillings in capitation. We've highlighted that in the People Daily. Health deficit locks out 160,000 from funding. Help cash crunch leaves that number, 160,000 students stranded, risking dropouts and campus unrest. And Lonswood warns lack of 49 billion shillings could collapse higher education and human capital. Help is broke. Kenya's rapid slide into anarchy raises fears of violence in 2027 elections. And on the back page of the Standard, it's Aldrin Kibet's moment.
Yes. Quite proud of this under-20 star. Kenya's under-20 star is he's a midfielder. You can see a picture there of Aldrin Kibet in action against Nigeria during their under-20 AFCON group match at 30th of June Stadium in Cairo, Egypt. Yesterday I was talking to our sports reporter Duncan Mutua, asking him, why don't we have this story? He was telling me, come on, we're expecting Celta Vigo. He's gone to Celta Vigo. It's a La Liga team. We're expecting an official statement from Celta Vigo. All we saw yesterday were pictures of Aldrin Kibet, his parents, his representatives, and representatives of Celta Vigo signing some documents, some corner in a street. And Duncan Mutua wasn't really excited in having it run for yesterday's sports news. All
right. When you said he'll be going to Celta Vigo, I thought you were saying our Duncan will be going to Celta Vigo.
It's Aldrin Kibet.
Aldrin Kibet. And the Daily Nation scandal of stolen free school funds, that same story. Phantom institutions fraudulently received 3.7 billion shillings capitation over 4 years. And the Office of the Auditor General has exposed shocking fraud that saw 33 non-existent schools receive billions of shillings in the past 4 years, even as thousands of public primary and secondary institutions across the country teeter on the brink of closure due to underfunding that has piled up to a staggering 17 billion shillings. And keep in mind that, the schools haven't received capitation money since January. We're talking about...
That story is on page 4
yes.
of the Daily Nation.
Other stories here. 1,500 people arrested and facing charges of terrorism, murder, robbery with violence, sexual assault, arson, and malicious damage to property. The Interior CS Kipchumba Murkomen is quoted here yesterday. He was saying there are politicians who have already been charged with terrorism-related offences and others have been summoned to the SCU.
Quite interesting. It says that senior politicians in the UDA, that's the United Democratic Alliance, are among 121 individuals being investigated. That's quite interesting. We'll be seeing how this pans out. And that is in regards to the June 25th and June 7th protests. Interior CS Murkomen also saying that members of County Assembly are also part of the group.
This story is on page 7. Pathologists request more time to conduct post-mortem on body of woman who died in prison custody. Although 3 pathologists observed bleeding in her brain, they concluded that he did not appear traumatic enough to have caused her death. This is Julia Kariuki, the 24-year-old who died in police custody, allegedly in Nanyuki.
I'd like to see that argument. They concluded that he did not appear traumatic enough. What is traumatic enough, really?
Fahima Abdallah on the top strip. New IEBC vice chairperson is a young woman of many fasts. It's a special coverage on page 3. Yeah. And still on the top strip, Kibet joins Spain's Celta Vigo B team on a 4-year deal. Teens sensation sets sights on La Liga. Yeah. On the back page of the Daily Nation, home support key to stars progress, local coaches say. It is a daunting task. Out of 7 editions held, only one host nation has won the title, and that's the Daily Nation. The Star.
Police fired from ambulance during Sabasaba protests. That is according on a probe, and the story is on page 2 of the Star. Lobby groups say that officers trailed and targeted protesters while inside an ambulance. Really? Wow.
So it says basically that police used unmarked vehicles and ambulances to trail and target protesters for shooting during the Sabasaba demonstrations. And this is according to a preliminary report by a consortium of human rights organizations released on Tuesday. The Police Reform Working Group also claim that police used sexual violence as part of brutal force deployed against protesters on July 7th, especially in places like Kajiado and Kiambu County. This story is on page 2 of the Star newspaper. Other stories?
Well, family mourns a 12-year-old while watching TV at home. Yesterday I saw the mom there with a very strong message to the shooters of her daughter. Sorrow, the casket bearing the body of grade 7 pupil Bridget Njoki Wainaina, that is on the front page of the Star, who was shot by police during Sabasaba demonstration in Dumberi, that is in Kiambu County. That's the picture on the left of the front page of the Star. And above that, Lucy Ngugi at the center. And Njoki's mother is consoled by relatives during a requiem mass at Our Lady of Fatima Catholic Church in Dumberi. That is quite sad.
All right, on the top strip, MP sustained bid to let public officers do business with state, and audit shocker, billions sent to ghost schools and learners. That is according to a report by the Auditor General Nancy Kadhungu. That's the Star, fresh, independent, different. You can grab a copy of the Star today at only 60 Kenyan shillings, in Tanzanian shillings, 1,000 bob. And in Uganda, 2,000 Ugandan shillings.
Yep.
Taifa Leo.
Shule za loa madeni. Mkaguzi mkuu wa hesabu za serikali afichua serikali ya kitaifa haijakuwa ikitengea shule fedha za kutosha. How's maswali, Odida?
Very bad. But you're trying. Mkaguzi mkuu wa hesabu za serikali afichua serikali ya kitaifa haijakuwa ikitengea shule fedha za kutosha. Anasema kwamba shule nyingi za umma nchini zinakumbwa na upungufu wa fedha kiasi kwamba baadhi ya walimu wakuu sasa wanapanga kuzifunga mapema. Nayo ripoti maalum iliyowasilishwa mbele ya kamati ya bunge la kitaifa ya uhasibu wa pesa za umma, that is PAC, na mkaguzi wa hesabu Nancy Kadhungu ilifichua kuwa serikali ya kitaifa haijakuwa ikitengea shule za umma fedha za kutosha. So a lot of newspapers are arguing today on this story here regarding, you know, this fraud and ghost money sent to these schools at a time when, you know, we haven't been having, schools haven't been having rather capitation issues, money since January. Vidokezo, yes, vidokezo zaidi here, 2,600 wasaka. That was bad. 2,600 wasaka kazi za majaji na mahakimu. Wanasema kwamba Wakenya 2,679 waliwasilisha maombi kwa nafasi 150 za majaji na mahakimu. Habari kamili katika ukurasa wa 3. Alivyojinasua kutoka ndoa ya lazima, mwanamke asimulia jinsi wanaume 7 walivyofika kwao na kumbeba kwa nguvu. Special feature on page 4. Very sad story there.
Al-Shabaab yateka mji Somalia. Magaidi walitoa mji wa Tardo, eneo la Hiran, baada ya kuwafurusha wanajeshi. Ukurasa wa 8 katika gazeti lako la Taifa Leo.
On the top strip, Gen Z sasa wamulika IEBC mpya, wafuatilia kwa makini shughuli zake wakitaka isikubali kuingiliwa. Na masuala ya spoti pale ni mlima Arsenal FC kupata AZ. Arsenal Palace tayari kujadiliana kuongeza pesa kupata winga mahiri AZ. Gazeti la Taifa Leo, tuangalie caricature kama mwelekezi atatusaidia kuzipata pale. You know, they say if you start in Swahili, you have to finish
in Swahili.
In Swahili. Do you have the caricatures? All right. Even as we wait, let's tease on the state of the nation once more. Your guests, Eric. And as you can see, of course, we see much on education matters this morning.
Yes. Very big story on capitation funds. The story, of course, our reporters spread across the country will be following up on. And as you said, State of the Nation in a few, starting from a few minutes from now. Joe Nyutu, Senator Muranga, we're expecting him here. Zahir Janda, the MP for Nyaribari Chache, is also going to be joining us for an important conversation about the state of the nation. Danson Mungatana, the Senator for Tana River, and Beatrice Elachi, the MP for Dagoretti North. It will be a wide-ranging discussion. We'll talk about a lot of issues that currently are affecting the nation. The big conversation, of course, being the proposal by former Prime Minister Raila Odinga on dialogue, the intergenerational conclave, they called it. It's a proposal yet. We want to hear what our elected representatives have to say about that. Time now for the caricatures?
Yes. Do we have them ready? All right. This is a People Daily. New IEBC team, lakini kuna mikono pale ya Gen Z. Nasema it will be free. That is Hussein Marjan.
Yes, Hussein Marjan there seems to be saying it will be free and fair. That's in regards to the 2027 election. But there's an there's a hand there, a Gen Z arm with a magnifying glass, scrutinizing the entire IEBC, the new IEBC team there. Yep. That's
the People Daily. This is the Standard agreeing on the same new IEBC. Lakini public trust is being, the public is questioning the eligibility of that.
Of the new team.
The new
team.
You can
see the new, I think that's the new chairperson, casting a huge shadow there, the public trust, just showing the, trust deficit between the electorate and the political class.
All right, that's the Standard. Daily Nation, it says raising illegal drinking age. It was raised from 18 to 21 years. Lakini on the other hand, lowering politicians drunk with power. We are raising the illegal drinking age. Lakini we are lowering politicians drunk with power. That's the Daily Nation.
Quite an interesting comparison there.
Finally, the Star.
Yes, it's a caricature. We behave, we have visitors. That seems to be Interior CS Kipchumba Murkomen telling Kenyans to behave as one of the biggest tournaments to ever happen on our soil. Reddit itself, that is Chan, that is coming up in a few days. So we've been told to behave because we have visitors. Wageni wanakuja.
All right, after State of the Nation, today being a Wednesday, it's Relationship Wednesday, we'll be having Richard Ziwa Zimbalist and Marcin Zuki. We'll be talking about trauma after toxic relationships or narcissistic abuse. But meanwhile, don't go too far. Be on standby for these conversations. Interact with us on our socials, TV47 Kenya on Facebook and on YouTube, on X at TV47 News KE. My handle is at @N_Odida. The hashtag is Morning Cafe. Your handle?
On X at Eric_Ne. And remember, you can be part of this conversation. Our SMS lines are open 22047. That is our SMS line.
Stay with us.
Is changing every day, and so should we, for the better. Each week, we tackle the big why, the question that should be on everyone's minds. Why isn't this fixed yet? Deforestation, global warming, and the adverse effects of climate change. The future isn't just something that we inherit, it's something that we create. Join us on The Green Fix as we tell the stories of those who refuse to give up. When it comes to fixing the planet, there is no time to waste. Join me, Shiksha Arora, on Thursdays at 9 p.m. on The Green Fix as we look into the big why, you and I.
For comprehensive information and education on your health, Body Garage is here.
Don't allow anyone to pluck out your good tooth as long as it is strong and stable.
Cancer doesn't start today and you get the symptoms tomorrow. By the time you pick it or the time it is manifesting in you, probably will be there about 5 to 10 years.
The eye is the window to the rest of the body.
Don't forget to stay hydrated.
And of course, you at home do take your water.
So the ultimate test is actually you check your urine. Your urine should be clear.
Clear like the water?
Yes. Should be able to see the other side of the urine. If your urine is colored or has changed color, you cannot see the other side, then you have not taken enough water.
Don't forget regular health checkups. Early detection saves lives.
I want the message be, we can prevent cervical cancer. We prevent cervical cancer in several ways. You have young girls and even somebody who's above that age, you can pay at least every 3 years. Somebody should have a pap smear done.
If you are 40, 45, 50, going upward, once a year, please go see a doctor. Yeah, it's just for normal routine maintenance.
Hey there, friends. Welcome to Kids on the Block, where fun and imagination come alive. We dive into magical world filled with exciting adventures and awesome friends.
What position were you in?
I was number 2.
What position were you?
Number 1.
He decided to cross the bridge by his house and look for food on the other side.
We're going to do half cup of chocolate chips, and the other one, we're going to do half cup of the blueberries.
So, grab your imagination hats and get ready to explore with us. Join us every Saturday at 9 a.m. for new friends, amazing stories, and tons of laughter.
Jiunge nasi tunapoangazia safari za viongozi bora. Kutoka kwa ushindi mkubwa hadi masomo magumu.
Wakati wetu kwamba wasichana si wa kusoma, ni wa kuolewa, ng'ombe ipatikane, wazazi wakuwe watajiri.
Tunashughulikia yote.
I wish I were a better investor.
My parents taught me how to look for things for myself.
Tazama Mfahamu Kiongozi, ambapo kila kipindi kimejaa maarifa, mikakati na hadithi za kukuza azma yako.
For me to succeed, I have to fight.
Kila Alhamisi saa 1:30.
Our world is changing every day, and so should we, for the better. Each week, we tackle the big why, the question that should be on everyone's minds. Why isn't this fixed yet? Deforestation, global warming, and the adverse effects of climate change. The future isn't just something that we inherit, it's something that we create. Join us on The Green Fix as we tell the stories of those who refuse to give up. When it comes to fixing the planet, there is no time to waste. Join me, Shiksha Arora, on Thursdays at 9 p.m. on The Green Fix as we look into the big why, you and I.
For comprehensive information and education on your health, Body Garage is here.
Don't allow anyone to pluck out your good tooth, as long as it is strong and stable.
Cancer doesn't start today and you get the symptoms tomorrow. By the time you pick it or the time it is manifesting in you, probably will be there about 5 to 10 years.
The eye is the window to the rest of the body.
Don't forget to stay hydrated.
And of course, you at home do take your water.
So the ultimate test is actually you check your urine. Your urine should be clear.
Clear like the water?
Yes. Should be able to see the other side of the urine. If your urine is colored or has changed color, you cannot see the other side, then you have not taken enough water.
Don't forget regular health checkups. Early detection saves lives.
I want the message be, we can prevent cervical cancer. We prevent cervical cancer in several ways. You have young girls and even somebody who's above that age, you can pay at least every 3 years. Somebody should have a pap smear done.
If you are 40, 45, 50 going upwards, once a year, please go see a doctor.
Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen, in numbers, he said that 42 is the number of those killed, although that is contested by some pressure groups. As I mentioned earlier, 600 people were injured, according to the CS, claiming that the bulk of them, 496 that is, were police officers, and then 1,500 people, of course, are in custody. Those in police custody, majority of them were released, but still 121 people face charges ranging for terrorism to arson. This is state of the nation, and of course, to drive this conversation, I have with me Zarhi Janda, who is the Nyaribari Chache Member of Parliament. We have Beatrice Elachi, who is the Dagoretti North Member of Parliament, and of course, Senator Danson Mungatana, the Senator for Tana River, just walked in. Thank you so much, gentlemen and lady, for joining us. So I'll start with you, Honorable Beatrice Elachi, about the reign of anarchy. That is the front page of the Standard. What do you make of it, the statistics as released by Interior CS, that is Kipchumba Murkomen yesterday?
Well, first of all, it is very unfortunate that we are still discussing this matter, and it's a matter that we need to have moved now from here and see how we move on and see how those who are part of this, who are fueling this, will now be in court. And we want to see the process now. You know, last time when I was here, I said, the most sad part is always the process of justice. When you have finalized all this, it becomes very painful. It awakens, people have started healing, it awakens their healing. They become again very emotional in the matter. But then the question will be, as we say, 42, 600, and all this. But then that process is what every Kenyan, I think, would wish to say, that the judiciary must hasten that process.
Mheshimiwa, I have to take you back. When you talk about healing, healing from what exactly? From the effects of the protests, or from what actually took people to the protests in the first place?
Well, you know, we are behaving as if we have not had people go through pain even before this. And I don't want us to go there.
Okay.
Yes. You see, let's say, for example, and it's not a good example, today, since you want us to see this, what about Mama Pendo in Kisumu? When was that? Kenyans felt that one did not deserve. You see, that is why I'm saying we do it in a very bad way.
Okay.
We think this is the only thing. We forget. Even those ones, when they see others are fighting and them they have never gotten justice, what do you want them to do? They go back into depression. They ask themselves, kwani sisi ndio hatukukuwa Wakenya wale tuliuawa? Kwani sisi si watu? So when we are doing this process, let us remember, it is not a process that is starting today. Let us remember there are Kenyans from the 207 who feel there is something this country never did for them. Okay. And they have that pain. And so I'm not saying that to justify this. I am saying our process, that judicial process, can it be fair so that we see at least maybe these ones are more lucky? Then let them have this justice. Okay. So that the ones who are from behind will come one day and say, if these ones can get justice, then Pendo will get justice. The parents will get justice.
All right.
Yes.
And that story on the front page of the Standard, of course, forms the basis of our discussion this morning. Very briefly, I would want us to touch on that. I want to hear from you, Zahir, what you make of that, the statistics from the Interior CS, but very briefly, because we're going to talk about, Mheshimiwa here has talked about justice, she's talked about healing. Of course, there's a proposal by former Prime Minister Raila Odinga saying that we need what he calls an intergenerational conclave, a national dialogue of some sorts. We'll be talking about that, but I just want to hear your views on that. The statistics released yesterday by the Interior CS Cabinet, that is Kipchumba Murkomen, very briefly.
I think it's about time that we rein into the criminal elements who are causing all these kind of mayhems and all these things. And I particularly think that it's about time that the government swings into action, arrest the perpetrators of those heinous crimes. And of course, from my personal observation, I feel like the judiciary will need to up their game, because it is very sad when you find someone who has been taken to court for whatever crimes that, for example, what the CS Murkomen has talked about, that these guys are going to be arrested. Someone has destroyed valuables, you know, and all of a sudden someone is taken to court and is told you pay a fine of 10,000 shilling. Then what is all this? So it's a conversation that we really need to sit down as a nation. And
so what would you want the courts to do?
Sorry?
Okay. Very briefly, what would you want the courts to do?
I think they need to hit hard also on their side to the perpetrators. When you give someone who goes to a hospital and burns down a hospital and be given a fine of 10,000 shillings, what do you expect to do? I mean, it is wrong. Even the same courts who are giving those kinds of lenient fines, you know, it's madness. So I from where I sit, I think the courts need to really hit hard.
All right. Just to mention that we also have Murang'a Senator Joe Nyutu, who's just walked in. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
Senator Danson Mungatana, over to you. What do you make of what the CS talked about yesterday?
First of all, I think it's very sad that we have desecrated what Sabasaba meant for some of us who historically were there, although we were young, but we were there. What Sabasaba meant for us is not what is happening today. Sabasaba was a big thing, you know. It was marking the second liberation of our country. Sabasaba was, we were just, I think, about to go to university, and there was a problem, because if you look at the history behind this, in 1st August 1982, there's an attempted coup, okay?
Yep.
Then Moi cracks down on the political dissidents. Then Section 2A is brought within the same August, so that now for you to stand for any political seat, you have to be in Kano. So things simmer up. In 1990 now, during the Sabasaba, you know, Kenneth Matiba, Charles Rubia, Akina Paul Muite, these big guys in our days, we were looking up to them. Akina Martin Shikuku, they said, we will go to Kamkunji, and in this day, we are going to demand that Section 2A be removed by hook or crook. There was no violence, still beating, you know, still people who are hawking or doing what. Kenyans were united in fighting for something, you know, that meant something for us at that time. And for us who just went to Sabasaba to see what is happening, because the big guys were coming in cars, of course, as we were just there, part of the crowd. We waited for our leaders to come and address us. Okay, police came and disrupted whatever, beat us, but we waited for our leaders to come and address us. We made the statement and went home. And it was a big thing, because in 1990 December, Moi decided that Section 2A must go. Okay. And then the country became a multi-party democracy. And we went into elections in 1992 as a multi-party democracy. Of course, we lost the elections because there were divisions in the opposition, but it was a multi-party democracy. So Sabasaba was very big. It was, when you talk Sabasaba, you can't talk Sabasaba without Matiba, without people like Charles Rubia, without Martin Shikuku, without James Orengo, the big guys of the day. So I'm sure when they look at this and they see, you know, Sabasaba, you know, descending into stealing, breaking supermarkets and moving things, I mean, it really feels bad for some of us. So we are saying there is space for us to grow our democracy. There is space for us to say what we want to say. But you should not use some of these days. Look for your day. I mean, Saba Saba, it was such a big thing for us who grew up in those days, for us to see it is the day people were, breaking hawkers' things, stealing what. It looks really, really bad. And my prayer, I appeal, use this platform to say, you can have your say without having to harm other people.
Okay.
Like we did, go to Kamkunji, say your bit, and go away. Don't come to, destroy property in CBD. And then I also wonder, why is it that when teachers, when doctors, when nurses are making their point out in the streets, we don't see people breaking shops. We don't see people, breaking ATMs. We don't see people robbing. It really makes us look so bad as a country, because like I am head of delegation for Pan-African Parliament. And every time things like this happen, if you should look at our WhatsApp group, because it's for MPs and senators across the entire Africa. And they keep saying, what's happening in Kenya? You people are thugs, you people are what? You should see what comments are coming here. Okay. And yet, we are a democracy. People are able to say what they want to say. Why can't we do it in an organized manner? Go to a place, designated place, stand up, say your bit, and go away. Like we did it in our times. So I pray that we are a learning lesson. We are still a nation that is young. We are just 50-something years. Countries like the US and UK are very old countries. They still struggle with the same things, but not at the scale that we are doing. And I'm praying that Kenya will maintain its status as a place where we can all be free to say what we want to say, but we also don't exercise our rights in such a way that I'm also hurting another Kenyan.
All right.
So I would just say those statistics, it is sad, it is bad to beat police or to engage police. It's not nice also police to beat people and harm people. I think we should have a way of doing these things so that I can have my say. I can say whatever I want against the government, but I also don't harm other people. And
right.
That should be the way we should grow this country.
Okay, thank you. Senator John Yutu, we are talking about the front page of the Standard. Reign of Anarchy is their title. From banned hospitals to brazen looting, Kenya is spiraling into a state of orchestrated anarchy. That is what the paper is saying. I just want your views briefly, because I want us to move on to another topic. A lot of things are plaguing the country right now. Very briefly, in a minute or less.
Thank you very much, but just be fair to me, because the others didn't take a minute.
Okay,
the problem that we have in this country is that there are issues, of course, being raised by young people. And of course, they have a right to demonstrate. But as they do these demonstrations, sometimes there's infiltration by criminals. And because we must look at this thing from all the angles. One, we are not going to take away the right of Kenyans to demonstrate and picket as provided in Article 37 of our Constitution. Number two, we must not allow criminals to infiltrate, lawful and peaceful demos. So then, how are we going to go about that? For me, if you ask me, the state is failing us. Because if I want to practice my right of demonstration, but then there are criminals who are coming to infiltrate me and my co-demonstration, the government, through the police, should be able to differentiate and to separate those that are demonstrating peaceably and unarmed and the criminals, and take action against criminals. So for me, it is a state that has failed Kenyans by not taking action against criminals within demos, because demos are going to be there. The other thing that must be said is that especially the young people have valid grievances. Are we making any effort at addressing these grievances? Because we cannot just lament. And what broke my heart last week was to see the president lamenting together with like all of us. The president who is head of government, is supposed to be providing solutions. His government is supposed to have protected life and property of Kenyans. The killings that continue happening of innocent Kenyans. Because, mark you, I have not seen any of the looters, the criminals being shot.
Okay.
All the accounts that have been reported are accounts of innocent people that have been killed by the police. They have not killed anybody trying to break the law. And that is why those of us on the side of the opposition, in quotes, are saying that these goons are sponsored by government because only innocent people have been killed. No goon or any criminal has been killed. And so this is something that must be addressed. And, you know, we must also tell CS Murkomen. They may want to, you know, to interfere with everything. They may want to give directions to everybody. But please, they must let our courts to continue enjoying their freedom. And to remind Murkomen, who is a lawyer, that any Kenyan charged in a court of law, there is that principle of not guilty until proved guilty. So his sentiments yesterday were sentiments that, you know, coming from somebody who was assuming that those that were given that lenient bail terms were guilty already. Murkomen must know, must remember that anybody charged in a court of law is not guilty until proved guilty. So you cannot say that the bail terms were very lenient. They are not criminals already. They must be proved after the process must prove them guilty. So let them not interfere with the courts. And finally, I think we are concerned about discrimination in application of the law. And I say that because there are some young men and women who are officials of DCP who have been charged under the Kenya Anti-Terrorism Act because of purportedly having, you know, torched down a Kikuyu police station, while there are people, youths, who torched down Mawego police station, and none of them has been prosecuted under the Anti-Terrorism Act. So the law must be seen to be applied evenly. You cannot prosecute some people from a particular maybe region under very harsh, very harsh conditions, while being, you know, discriminating against, while being very soft on some other people if the Anti-Terrorism Acts have been committed. So what we are saying is, let the grievances being raised be addressed. Let us apply the law evenly. Let the government protect life and property.
Okay.
And let us not lament, let us provide solutions.
Well, thank you, Senator John Yutu, for that. I want us to move on very quickly to the front page of the Daily Nation. A very, very big story there, big scandal if you ask me. Phantom institutions fraudulently receiving 3.7 billion capitation over 4 years. That is the scandal of stolen free school funds. The Office of Auditor General yesterday exposed shocking fraud that threw 33 non-existent schools receiving billions of shillings in the past 4 years. This is happening in a country where we still have capitation funds issues because the paper is saying thousands of public, primary and secondary school institutions across the country teeter on the brink of closure due to underfunding that has piled up to a staggering 117 billion shillings. 117 billion shillings, quite a huge amount there, not comparable, of course, to the 3.7 billion shillings that has been stolen, but still 3.7 billion shillings is a lot. Don't you agree with me, Honorable Lachi?
Yes, I agree with you. And I would say, first of all, it's one of the things I have fought with the ministry is to give every child a NEMIS number. The day we give every child in this country a NEMIS number is the day we get out of this. And this is why we always say, when you look at the ministry, the monies we give the Ministry of Education, honestly, if you don't have data to tell you, we have, because even today if you ask the ministry, how many children do you have in Kenya who are in school? They will use the NEMIS numbers that they have to tell you that is their number, which will be a lie, because in my own school, the schools I have in Dagoretti North, I will tell you, you will find even a school like Gatina with 3,600 children, maybe approximately 400 or even less, because there was a time we only had 80 who had NEMIS numbers. And this is a government school, and this is a school where if you give all, but what the ministry has done is to make sure you deny them, because you'll know the numbers, and we will know in Parliament when we are budgeting, you will know what they need for capitation. And so I would want to tell them, honestly, before even we start, because you will find us going around talking about this 3.7 billion, but I know there's something very wrong in us, in the Ministry of Education, in terms of data.
But Mheshimiwa, let me ask you, this is a problem of commission, it's not an omission. The paper says that the schools and the amounts flagged, it says number of ghost schools that continue to receive money from the government.
Yeah,
continue to receive
from
money
the government, not
so this
from...
is something deliberate that is currently happening as we speak right now.
That's why I'm saying, until you get the NEMIS number. That is what will tell you how many, do we have 2 million children in school, or 1.5, or less than 1 million, or how many? And the best thing we can be doing right now, and I want to tell the ministry, is I'm hoping the junior secondary, every child has a NEMIS number. Okay. So that we start trying to clean up the madness and trying to ask ourselves, so from grade 1 going up, and how do we now ensure when you have a NEMIS number, it takes you to high school, it takes you to university. You see, we will have even also sorted out the challenges we are facing, where you can you realize 163 again young people going to university are not going to have to be supported under help because there's no money. But if that child had a NEMIS number, that you know this NEMIS number, when I get to 18, it culminates for me getting just my ID, then we'll have sorted a big problem that we have every time. And it will also help you to get to know, I have children who have finished their primary, they are now moving to their senior, their junior, they'll come to their senior. After their senior, where do they get lost? You will know. You'll know approximately this have entered into colleges, entered into universities, but there's a group that we can't find. How do we find these children and get to know what are they doing? Because they are the ones right now who are now struggling, who now come look for a boda, look for what, but he was to move, to continue with his education. But maybe I was not able to pass properly, so I'm there. But is there a way government can track them so that you get to know what else can they do for their lives? Right. And so that we get out into the quagmire we are facing right now with so many young people who either have finished, you see, we assume that you have finished school. We are assuming we need to give them employment. But the day you call in for that, you will find some of this Kumbe did not finish school. They were unable even to go to their Form 2s. They are just there. Some even finished at Standard 8. They were left there. And it is a very wrong way. So for me, I have fought this. I have so many questions I've asked in the ministry on NEMIS. I think every question I've asked them, because I know if you want to steal money, just deny NEMIS.
What is their response really, as we wrap up with you?
I have never gotten the response.
Okay.
Even when the minister came for questioning, I said, is there a way we can start the year with every child? Do not ask this child where they were born, why the birth certificate is not there. Is there a way your officers can walk into our schools, get to give every Kenyan child a NEMIS number, so that when we are budgeting capitation, we are just able to say, 10 billion has gone to our children, and the numbers in the schools are this. That will be the day the Auditor General will never tell us this sad story. And so we can't blame her. Even if it is right or wrong, for now, you can't blame her. Because she has flagged it out. The 33 schools, non-existent. So does it mean, you know, it's a very... It is sad, but it's also very unethical. And this is why we sometimes fight on these issues of NCGDF now. Because that is how you feel very sad. Because you, with NCGDF, and you're going to day schools, there's no day You will just walk into a ghost school. How? Even the parents will tell you there, that is not a school. They will tell you. So you will be flagged off very fast. But because in the ministry, even that food program in the ministry, I always find it very funny. I'm sorry to tell them today.
Thank you for that. Zahir, what do you make of it? Audit reveals loss of billions in fraud involving, ghost schools. We're talking about debts running to 117 billion shillings, capitation issues here and there, but still, someone somewhere orchestrated the theft of over 3 billion shillings.
Well, first things first, my question goes to the Office of the Auditor General. What has the Office of the Auditor General been doing for the last 4 years? Why tell us now that we have lost 4 billion shillings, So, I'm finding it a bit very strange. Why now? Is it a political sabotage so that the Kenya Kwanza administration is seen as if it takes the full responsibilities of the failed regime? But again, I think the people that have been involved for the last 4 years, the EACC and the DCI should investigate whether they were cabinet secretaries, and something must be done so that we can be able to recover those monies. And I think the Ministry of Education, they need to answer that.
All right. Senator Danson Mungatana, Mheshimiwa Elachi seems to propose that if we have a NEMIS number, this will come to an end. Really, what do you think?
I don't agree. I don't agree. And I'll give you an example. About 2 months ago, I have a small investment somewhere.
Okay.
And about 2 months ago, money got lost. And you know what I did? I asked one of my people, my close ones, who when they go there, they know it's me. Just go lock that office. Everybody to go home. And I don't care whether I make losses or what. Go. Just go. All of you. And you want to sue, you want to go where, go. Just go. And they locked the office. You see? And now then confessions started coming. The good ones came and what. And obviously now we are in the process of reformation. What am I saying? I'm so fed up with looking at government like it's a place for looting. This is the mentality that people walk into government offices with the idea that I will get rich. If we ran the government like we ran our public small little investments, I'm telling you this nonsense will not happen. 3.7 billion, can you even imagine how a billion looks like, And then we just reporting like it's a story, it's a headline, and the minister is still there sitting pretty. He has not been touched, asked to resign. The PS is just there. We had a PS who was in charge of this education before these reshuffles, and everybody knows that these people who should take responsibility are the top guys. Who is the CEO? It is the guy who signs these checks. And nothing happens. It's the same frustrations when we are doing the public accounts with governors. And in that Senate Public Accounts Committee, you even have people from the EACC attending. They attend because they are members of our committee. There's the Auditor General, the EACC are there, and then someone says, okay, we can't account for 600 million, 300, 400, 200. And it's just stories, business. The person from EACC collects her commission or his commission and goes back. Just another day for collecting our commission, allowances. And we senators don't have power to arrest. Just like the members of parliament who are doing this audit, they don't have powers of arrest. So you have our chair there for Senate Public Accounts Committee saying, in other jurisdiction, you governor, you would go down the cells. You will not leave this place. But the EACC is there. Where parliament is sitting, there's a police station. Governor would come, blah, blah, blah. Stories, they go away. Here, again, a headline, 3.7 billion. There's no minister who is getting fired. No PS who is getting even, no director, nothing. So Kenya goes on. 3.7 billion, what it can do in Tana River County, my friend, you know, it's big money. Because look at it, if our entire yearly annual allocation, you know, if you combine all allocations from equitable share and all the other grants and whatever, we are getting something like 8 billion.
Okay.
So 3.7 is like 50% of what the entire county has taken, you know? And then, you know, nothing happens. So I think that we are not serious about the fight for corruption.
All right.
And to me, it's not about small things like, I don't know, NEMIS, what. I think, fire the minister.
All right.
Tell him to step aside today to tell us where did the 3.7 billion. Let me tell you, today if we tell the guy to go home and explain, that whole ministry, people will be moving up and down. If you say, I don't want to see you PSs, because if it was my company, that's what I would do.
Right.
You know,
okay.
I don't want to see you from today. And I'm telling you, you give them 1 month, these things will start being straightened. Because even as we are talking, like they said in the audit, and I have no doubt that the Auditor General is telling the truth, the Auditor General is saying they are continuing, 33 schools are continuing to receive. So it is a continuing crime.
Right.
And then nothing happens.
Okay.
I think we need to take very hard decisions. And people must bear the responsibility so that next time, if I'm president and I'm asking you, my friend, to become the minister in charge of education, you tell me, no, my friend, I don't want to go there and be arrested. I don't want to be charged. I want to stay in peace in private business. Not this way, the way it is. If you're told, become PS, become whatever, you jump. Because you know there's no responsibility. I think we need to change. And I pray for the day that this country will start running government like we would do in our private businesses.
Well, thank you. Senator John Nyotu, you sit in the Senate. I want to hear your comments on that, and I want you to take us to the next point of discussion. That is a story on Daily Nation, page 8, about senators being uneasy with President Ruto's anti-graft push. As you give us your comments on this issue of the stolen education funds, you also tell us why you are uneasy about the conflict of interest bill. But first, very briefly on the stolen funds.
Thank you, Abu. And it's important for me to let you know that I was the chair, Senate Education Committee, until I was thrown out for voting no to the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua.
Okay.
And so I think I'm more,
qualified,
vast with the matters of education, maybe than the rest of us.
All right.
But I think I share in my co-panelists a very strong feeling that action should be taken against all who have been involved in this, because heads must roll. And I will tell you why. For a school to receive funding, one, it must have been registered. It must be registered by the Ministry of Education. So for a school to be registered, there has to be several reports. There has to be a physical visit by the officers whom we call quality assurance and standards officer that are based in every sub-county education office. They must have visited the school, made a report.
Okay.
Number two, there must be a report from the public health office who must have visited the school and made a report. In some instances, the county education board also visits the school. So there must be, if these schools were registered, because it's a prerequisite for any school to receive public funding, then those that made the reports that I have talked about must be called to answer several questions. You made this report to facilitate the registration of this school.
Yes.
I mean, did you visit this? Because there must be the physical school. Did you visit? Those are the first people who should answer some questions. Then, every time, at least once every year, there are returns made by the school principal or head to the Ministry of Education. Who has been filing these returns with the ministry? You know, that is something else that must be asked. Because the ministry, I mean the education office, the local education office has been receiving returns. Who has been filing these returns? The other thing is, these accounts these school accounts have signatories. Who are these signatories? You know, so if we ask these these questions, we must be able to come up with, because there is a lot of complicity. I mean, the education, the sub-county education officer, the county education officer, all the way to the ministry, like my colleague Senator Mungatana is saying, then the PS. So this is not something that should just be allowed to go. It's a web of corruption which must be arrested, so that those who have intentions of misusing and embezzling public funds we will see that once you do this, the long arm of the law will finally catch up with you. Right. But I'm not aware about the discomfort with the senators about the conflict of interest bill. I had not read it.
Maybe I can make...
But maybe Senator Mungatana can pick it up before I get acquainted to it.
Yeah, if you actually look at the same page, the last paragraph, you see there was my contribution there. It captured in a very, summarized manner. But what we are saying...
It says the Tana River Senator Danson Mungatana said the word affinity is so loose that somebody can actually use it to harm people.
Correct. So we were debating this thing. Okay. The president sent back that law. We had passed that law. And I think it went to the National Assembly, and it is supposed to be assented by the president. That's the correct word. So that we have a new conflict of interest bill, and it becomes now an act of parliament which would then be addressing corruption, in the sense that if you are a public officer and you are receiving gifts, or you're in the same, you are not declaring these things, okay, or you are a public officer and you are trading within the same places, or your family members, or these normal things that people do to make themselves rich. This conflict of interest bill is supposed to deal with us. Okay. So when the first draft came, we passed it with amendments. So finally it has gone through Senate and through the National Assembly, and it went to the president so that he can sign to become law. The president has power under the Constitution to say no.
Yes.
So he vetoed the bill, basically, and then returned it back to Senate to say, look, there are some things I don't like here. For example, I want this definition of your relative to include the word affinity. And that's one of the things that our senators were saying. It means if I'm receiving a gift, or my child, my wife, my father, my mother, or my cousins and whatever, we were saying, many of us were saying in this debate, how do you define relatives? This seems to be a law from World Bank or from another, some IMF thing, because we were saying, these are the people who, according to them, the brother and the sister is family. But for us, you have so many cousins, you don't know them, you've never met them. Maybe when there's a funeral is when you are told, oh, yule ni baba nani, you are related to that one. So if that cousin that you've never met for the last 2 years receives a gift, does it mean that it is also, and because I'm a public officer, does it mean that whatever he's doing, I'm also to be held responsible? It has to be declared. But then it gets worse. Senate was saying there's the word affinity, not just relatives, but even those related to you by affinity. That means if I go to the gym with Mheshimiwa Nyutu, which we do, and we chat after the sessions, then I know him by affinity. So does it mean that if he receives a gift or he does something, I'm also responsible for it? I mean, it is so broad that Senate was saying, hello, there's a problem here. these things about declaring. And I was saying, if ESCC, for example, is investigating somebody, is focusing on you,
yes,
and they want to find out like means, how you live and the incomes you have, and then they go all the way to your relatives, to those you are related by affinity. we were saying, I mean, it's a bit too much. But there's a problem, because if now you want to defeat what the president has proposed to in this law, which he has vetoed, what you have to do is to raise 2/3 majority in the Senate. And equally, if it goes to the National Assembly to override a presidential veto, the Constitution says you have to raise 2/3 majority.
Right.
Now, raising 2/3 majority is going to be very difficult. So we were just explaining our reservations.
Right.
That is what we were saying, that there are problems, and other people picked other issues. And we were saying, even if the intention is good to tighten the screws around the fight against graft, we think that it was overreaching. That's what we thought. But you know, let the law play its course. But I want to make this point again. It is not
because I want us to move on.
It's not how many laws we have.
Okay.
It is action. It is action. If we have 2 ministers or 2 chiefs of parastatals, 2 heads of departments publicly dealt with, you know, in a very open and strong, it will send a message. It's not the number of laws we are passing.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I want us to move on to our main topic of discussion today. Enough with the newspaper review. I want us to talk about what former Prime Minister and ODM leader Raila Odinga has proposed, an intergenerational conclave, a national dialogue of some sorts. And I want us to play this story by our very own senior political affairs reporter, Apollo Kamau. Let's just have a look at what he got for us yesterday.
President William Ruto and ODM party leader Raila Odinga hold the key to the success of the national conclave proposed by Odinga, which has divided the country after the June 25th anniversary protests and Sabasaba demos.
Very good.
However, trust in the process remains fragile, with the government's failure to implement previous recommendations from the NADCO report, coupled with violations of the 10-point MOU signed by Ruto and Odinga in March, including cases of abductions, suppression of the right to protest, and protest-related deaths, denying Ruto and Odinga the much-needed trust to kickstart the process.
How will people trust Ruto and Raila? That's where the challenge is. But in terms of whether or not we should sit down to have a national conversation, to come up with a national charter, I'm telling you, there's no option out of that. We have to. Otherwise, we are going into anarchy and will collapse this country.
We've had too many of them. And the most recent is the one that the Right Honorable Raila Odinga came up with. Yet they have a memorandum with President Ruto, which they've not been able to honor. And one of the points that stick out most is the story about abductions, because I think they must have agreed on honoring that, to avoid abductions, to respect Article 37 of our Constitution.
In a bid to give the conclave credence and make it acceptable to Kenyans fatigued by political-led dialogue, the Political Parties Liaison Committee, PPLC, apart from embracing Odinga's dialogue call, wants a citizen-led inclusive process to be led by the team.
Key priority areas for the conversation will include a deliberate war on corruption. The dialogue will focus on concrete strategies to eradicate corruption, restore public trust, and ensure accountability. Comprehensive police reforms and justice for human rights abuses. Justice must be served for those injured, abducted, or killed. The conversation will demand reforms and prosecutions where necessary.
There is a framework that we shall be developing, but in a nutshell, these talks will be based on a county forum formula. We shall go to the people. So when you talk about the 15 million Gen Zs, we shall go to them.
Questions abound on how the government will engage the leaderless Gen Z, whose only slogan since the 2024 anti-finance bill demos has been Ruto must go, amid a charged political environment between the opposition and the government along one-term, two-term factional lines.
The call for a convention, a conference or a conclave is yet another con game. A con game similar to what we had at NADICO that was conceived by Raila together with William Ruto. This time round, then NADICO was to create the broad-based government. Round here, it is now to give life to the broad-based government.
Amid divisions of the national conclave, no timelines have emerged yet on the process. Apul Kamau, TV47.
Well, thank you, Apollo Kamau, for that. We are talking about the national conclave, the national dialogue that has been proposed by former Prime Minister Raila Odinga to at least give solutions to what we're having right now. Kenyans are saying, some Kenyans, a section of Kenyans, let me add that, are saying that the time for talks is over. Let me take you back to the agenda 4 of the National Dialogue and Reconciliation process in Kenya, which wanted long-term measures and solutions to address the deep-rooted structural causes of the 2007-2008 post-election violence. We had constitutional, legal and institutional reforms. We had land reforms in that. We had the poverty and inequality, aspect of that, the unemployment, especially among the youth, national cohesion and unity, transparency, accountability, and addressing impunity. Very much recently, we had the NADCO report, which is yet to be fully implemented, the BBI, remember, which was declared unconstitutional, and all these dialogues that have been happening in the country. And I want to start with you, Zahir Janda. What do you make of this? Do you think we still need some more talks to at least steer the country in the right direction?
Well, absolutely, yes. I think it's about time that we have that dialogue. It's very important as a nation where we need to sit down and have a structured framework, how government and the purported Gen Zs will work. We need to listen to the young people of this country. So I think I fully support the national dialogue.
Beatrice Elachi, what do you think should be done? How will these structures be made, and who will take the leadership?
You see, first of all, let us appreciate, regardless of how angry we are to ourselves, there must be a process now to come and bring in the framework that you would wish to have. Right. And so I would plead with our young leaders and tell them, you see, we are here in this space. As much as you'd see us, as much as you'd feel you are very disappointed with us, whether it is 2027 or 2032, 2032 you will not run away. You'll be the leaders. And so it is better you come in now to start that process. Because all these guys of KANU, they will have left. You are the ones who are taking Kenya to the 2070 agenda. And you must have a framework on it. So you can't say right now and assume. It is not far. We assumed when we were young, when Kibaki was telling us 2030 vision, we assumed it was very far. But I'm realizing we are going to reach 2030 and will not have achieved so much that was in the blueprint that was done by the team that did that blueprint. So they need their blueprint. You need a blueprint that understands what you want to get to push the country to your generation, to your space, which all of us will also be waiting for you to serve us, because we'll have now moved out of that space.
Mheshimiwa, just to interject there, we have a new constituency of youth who are saying time for talks is over. Just do the right thing. They are now controlling the narrative. Just do.
That's why I'm saying, when you find yourself not doing the right thing, and you know what is the right thing, don't you come and give that solution?
And they're doing that.
Who? I'm saying the young people understand better the right thing, isn't it?
Yes.
We have done the wrong thing. Isn't it fair we leave this space, they come and do the right thing? But this right thing, you cannot do it when you're just saying it there. You have to sit and give us the framework so that the things we've done wrong should never happen as you move forward to do the right things and to make Kenya better than what you're seeing today. So for me, you can't run away from that process. Right. You must think of how do you sit and have it. Then you will ask yourself another question. We want to have the right thing. There is no country, even in the US, that has ever run away from those who are there. You get together so that you take over. Because you can't, even when you are getting married, there's a process in getting married, isn't it? Yes. So there's no way you'll tell me, no, we know the right thing, but we are there. No. You have to come.
All right.
If you don't want, if you feel, Baba is not the right person to be on the Baba is not saying he wants to be. He has done all the talks. In fact, everything we enjoy here today, when you hear some people even talking, I wonder, thank God he's there. Because there was a time people never even believed you needed to do mandamano. And today they are the ones enjoying it. Thank God to Baba. Thank Raila Omolo Odinga for making you to be there and showing you you will need that space of Article 37. You will need space to sit down and talk, because you can't, if you hand over government today, will you do it in the cloud? No. Now is when you come and land down, and you need to watch how the Conservatives in the UK and Labour are now doing things, and you realize you need to have something, a framework to build up.
All right.
And that is why we are saying it does not matter whether it is the president. You can start it. The thing I would plead to the government, give the young people a space. Let them go anywhere, whether it is bombers, let them be the ones.
All right.
Let them give us a document and say, these are the issues.
But they already did.
Which one?
I mean, let's go back to pre-Finance Bill 2024.
No.
You came up with issues.
Exactly.
You said, this is what we are clamoring for.
And I'm saying,
this is what we want done. And the president momentarily, let me say, showed leadership. He sent home
now
his
I want them to go somewhere.
Then, right now, we are back almost to pre-2024.
Let me finalize by telling you this.
Yes.
Let's give our young leaders the opportunity. Let them sit somewhere.
Right.
Government to take that bill. Let them choose. They say they don't have a leader. Fine, we are not looking for a leader. We are looking, choose yourselves how you trust each other, but go sit and just come up with a framework. That framework is not for me. No. With my age, no. That framework is theirs. It says whoever takes over and wants to move with us, this is how we would want to see this structure. These are the issues. Corruption. We are saying we need a solution. The solution, I'll tell them, for corruption is for all of us. Start in your home. I hope some of them, their fathers never worked in government. Because if they did, you are part of the problem. You will not solve the problem. Because maybe your father did a tender. You have so many things at home. You wonder, my dad has 10 cars, 15 landing there, this. Have you ever asked him how he got them? He got it through a tender of government.
All right.
He paid 10% to get a tender of government.
Okay, thank you.
And there is where the problem is.
All right, Senator Danson Mungatana, do we need a dialogue? Do we need to go to Bomas to end the issue of police excesses? Do we need to go to have a dialogue to end the issue of corruption? Do we need to talk to end corruption? Can't we just do the right thing? Are the politicians listening to the electorate?
Well, I hold a different opinion myself. I think what is required is action. That's where I come from. And What action is, I think, the point that needs to be addressed. What is it that we need to do? You know? And I believe that what is required is political action. For example, there is the National Youth Council, okay, that was established under the National Youth Council Act that was passed in 2009. 2009, Parliament in its wisdom passed this law. And they said, we are going to create a national structure through which youth, the mandate, by the way, they are supposed to advise government on youth issues. They are supposed to advise government on youth matters to be, included, like the way gender has been mainstreamed. So the National Youth Council is supposed to be doing this. Okay, so if I ask you today, Bwana Eric, who is the chair of the National Youth Council? When were the elections done? Who represents, who is mainstreaming youth issues in the ministry, for example, of sports? Who is there as a representative? Okay, what informs the government policy on foreign affairs as far as youth are concerned? Who is representing the face of youth in the Ministry of Health, and so on? You'll find there's a systems failure here. Because the law is there, the National Youth Council is there, but people are going to the streets. Now we wonder, what is the issue? What is the problem? So if it calls for dissolution of some of these structures to start again, that must be done. If it calls for, like you remember when the Gen Zs took to the streets and so on, I think one of the most decisive action that was taken was the dissolution of cabinet. Once that was done, temperatures came down. It wasn't talks, it was action. So for me, I think...
To bring the temperatures down.
To bring temperatures...
The movement.
No, not just to contain the nini, but it meant that you are responding to the issue. You get action. And for me, action is what is required. Decisive action. If the National Youth Council is not working, dissolve it. Because it's supposed to have representatives from all over. Every county is supposed to have its own youth council members. The structure is so well done all the way to the national. But then are they carrying out their mandate? Do even the young people know that the National Youth Council exists? Have they read the National Youth Council Act 2009? Nobody seems to be interacting with this. So if this has failed, then what needs to be done is decisive action being taken. And then I also need to say this. There are a number of things that the government is doing that need to be told to the youth. All these initiatives about youth empowerment, youth fund, Kazi Maju, Kazi Mtaani, and all this, they need to be a system that makes them very visible. So that when someone comes to tell you that they don't have a job, you can say, have you gone to the digital economy? Have you tried there? Have you applied there? Have you done this? Have you tried Kazi Maju? Have you done? So that someone can say, before you come to the member of parliament or to your MCA or to your senator or whoever your representative is,
Senator, let me just take you.
You can just say, instead of coming and say, I don't have a job, you can say, look, I've tried this, sijapata, here sijapata,
Senator,
here sijapata. So those structures must work.
Should we really reduce this to the issue of unemployment? And I don't know if my producer can, project the front page of the Star on our screens right now. A very worrying headline there. Police fired from ambulance during Sabasaba probe. Police fired from ambulances during the Sabasaba protest. The story is on page 2. It says police used unmarked vehicles and ambulances to trail and target protesters for shooting during the Sabasaba demonstrations, according to a preliminary report by a consortium of human rights organizations released on Tuesday. That was yesterday. This really isn't about the issue of unemployment and the issue of jobs. These are serious, serious issues. Ambulances the world over are known to be some of the safest vehicles in times of emergencies, but police...
I think, Eric, you're trying to take us back to a topic we have already dealt with.
I'm just asking.
Because...
Do these
no,
issues
allow
really
me,
need...
allow
Senator,
me
just hold on for a minute. Do these issues, such issues, do they need a dialogue really to address?
No, what I'm saying is, I don't agree with you when you say that unemployment is not an issue here. The issue.
I'm not saying it's not an issue. I've just said we don't reduce all these issues.
I think
to unemployment, to the issue of
speaking
unemployment.
from different angles here. What I'm trying to tell you, is that action is what is required. It's not discussion. Okay. And I'm trying to tell you that if the issue is unemployment or youth representation, there are structures. If the structure has failed, then we need to go back, dissolve what is there, and start again. What you are raising about the issue of police brutality, alleged police brutality, because that's a report that I think it needs a rebuttal from the other side. Because when police are accused, they also need a right of reply. They need to say what, from their point of view, is. So let us say what is required is not really to sit down and talk again. What is required is action. And action can be taken through, publicly being seen. For example, nobody has been talking about the National Youth Council. I'm going there all the time because it is supposed to be the formal, engagement that government is supposed to have with the youth. And then the other thing, for example, Uganda has done it. Uganda has created special seats for youth. So you have special seats. You are elected as a youth. Yeah. And they even have for the army, by the way, in Uganda, strangely, but yeah, they have it. And also in Tanzania, they are youth parliamentarians. Sort of like in a situation that county, let me situate it in Kenya, it's like a county, and then you have one person elected by all the youth. So I think maybe we need to restructure the youth so that people can feel that, okay, in Tana River, aside from the other guys, we elected somebody who is recognized by all of us, that represents youth matters, can walk into MCA's offices, to the Speaker of the county, the Senator's office, and talk for the youth. Because right now, the National Youth Council, it doesn't seem to be carrying that kind of mandate. So is it time we rethink that in constituting this thing, we may as well have them chosen during the elections itself, so that youth can also say, apart from the women, we also elected our own guy as youth. So I think some of this thing is just to take action. For me, I'm not sure that it's time again to sit and talk and talk and talk. I think action is needed.
Right, Senator John Yutu, your take on that. We've become a country of talking heads. We always talking about this or that, but still we seem to have some issues that are still plaguing us since post-independence. What is your take on that? Or rather, who is going to bail the cat when it comes now to setting frameworks for this dialogue as proposed?
Thank you, Eric. And I think talking generally is a good thing. I mean, if people have a problem, have a difference, they can talk. But then if you're going to get into talks with maybe an opposite party or a party against whom you have some grievances, there must be trust. And I think the problem that we have with this dialogue, as suggested by the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, is the deficit of trust. Because Raila Amolo Odinga at the moment, and I agree with Honorable Elachi that, and I say it so many times, that Raila Amolo Odinga, most of the freedoms that we enjoy today are attributable directly to him. But currently he's working with this government. And another fact is that this government is very unpopular. The other thing is that this government has a huge trust deficit. And there's a reason why this government does not enjoy any trust from Kenyans. It's because, first of all, the promises that the president made when he was campaigning, he has kept very few, if any of them. And coming to this issue of young people, you know, last year, and it is true, like Senator Mangatana said, that one of the things that President William Ruto did last year, of the June 25th the protests of last year, was to fire his cabinet. But what did he do after he fired his cabinet? Some of the cabinet secretaries in his first cabinet, some of the people the youths had a very big problem with. You know, the youths had a problem with opulence. And it is true, it is not something, it's not hearsay, that the image of opulence in that particular cabinet was the CS for Interior now, Kipchumba Murkomen. So, having dissolved his cabinet, somebody like Kipchumba Murkomen, who was displaying opulence all over, and it is in public, bounced back to cabinet. What's more, and what's annoying the youths even more, the same Murkomen is now in charge of Interior. He's the one now commanding the police. He's the one telling the police to shoot. You know? So the problems we have here, and I'm glad that you have interjected Senator Mungatana and told him that the biggest problem that we have today with the youths is not even about employment. It's about the violation of human rights, and especially killings and abductions. And if we want to be honest with ourselves, the protests of 25th of June this year were not about employment, were not even about the finance bill. They were about the killings and abductions of youths who have been agitating for their rights. And so, President Ruto did not keep his promises, or did not actually address the issues that the youths raised last year. Why then? How then can they accept to come to a table, you know, with somebody whom they know from history that he will make promises that he is not able to keep? So where does Raila Amolo Odinga then get in this particular equation? Raila Amolo Odinga is supporting this government. When he first, I was here last week, Eric, and I supported that particular suggestion by Raila Amolo Odinga about an intergenerational conclave. But then, when I had Kimani Ichung'wah, Silvanus Osoro, and people in government saying now what is Raila Amolo Odinga is saying is something, then I was like, okay, so it was not an original idea of Raila Amolo Odinga. It was a government idea. But now, you know, conveyed through Raila Amolo Odinga, the government that is suspect. So now I'm not supporting this dialogue. Because if it is going to be a dialogue, yes, I'm going to come to that. If it is going to be a dialogue where we must have trust. Now, the youth do not trust this government. So you ask, and that's a good question. So what do? Let us resolve the issues the youths have raised, because they are clear. It's about violation of human rights, which is the most now pressing matter as at the moment. It's about employment, like they made clear last year. It's about, you know, a failed education funding. It's about, those issues are known. Let them be resolved. And then we have had far too many reports, you know, made, and we can already see. In fact, I don't know what ODM is still doing in government, because they had a 10-point agenda, remember, when they made an arrangement to work together. One of them was the stoppage of the violation of abductions and killings, which continue to happen. So what other dialogue do we need? So the other thing that we must say, Eric, is, and Honorable Elachi touched on it, is that the youths are leaderless. So who is going to represent them on this particular table? And why are the youth leaderless? Because they know that immediately their leaders are identified, they will be, of course, they'll be compromised. Nobody doesn't know about that young man, Casmuel, last year. Nobody doesn't know about Murakebaso. Do you hear them anymore? You don't hear them anymore talking about the youth. You know, we saw Casmuel with Osoro somewhere last year. That was the last time Kasmuel talked about the issues of the youth. I mean, we have seen Morake Baso. Do you hear of him? You don't. That's why the youths do not want to have any leader to represent them. So let the government resolve the issues. The president met the youths again through X last year. There are issues that they raised. Let those issues be addressed. I no longer support this dialogue. I thought it was a very genuine, genuine suggestion from Raila Amolo Odinga. Right. But then now it seems to be just something, a diversionary tactic.
Let's hear what.
Yes.
Let's hear what Beatrice Elachi has to say about that. ODM had a 10-point agenda in the NATCO. Do you think that should be implemented first before we talk about any other dialogue?
Well, I think that is already, in fact, in Parliament with bills, isn't it? The NADCO. In fact, for us women, we are still pushing them to ensure that the 2/3 go through as they pass all those things of NADCO. So NADCO is, in terms of implementation, the bills have gone through Parliament. They are in the Committee of Legal Justice. They've come back. Some of them we've even done second reading. Some of the results of NADCO, I think, is even these commissions of IEBC. So it's a process that is going on. But that is not the issue where we should... You see, for me, and I agree with my leaders here, who feel there's no need of talking. As women, we feel there's need of talking. Because even when a house is burning, you talk. You don't run away from your husband. You talk and deal with it. Until the day you'll say, now we cannot deal, then that is when you now say, okay, fine, things are tough, we can't. But there will be a process of also ending it, isn't it? Yes, but we cannot come and say, we do not need to talk. No, 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 no. As leaders, we'll have failed our country. In either way, I have said, you don't need the president. You don't need His Excellency Raila Amolo Odinga. No, but you need a space. And I have said, let government give that safe space. And let them say, we will sit here. How they will sit, they know. They say they don't have a leader, fine. But they have a team that they know they will trust. That document that they bring is the document you pin down and petition it to Parliament. And say, we have finished our talking. This is how we want to see us moving as we move to the new direction and the new dawn of Kenya. This is what we want.
I hear some of them saying they already have the document.
Fine. Petition.
That is the 2010 Constitution.
No. The 2010 Constitution is Baba's fight. Hiya.
What do you mean Baba's fight?
Oh, yes, it is. By the way, if we didn't have him at that time, it would have gone to in Naivasha. And I will tell you, my Senator Mogatana is here. He will tell you. If we did not have people who were very strong, it would have also just become another document which didn't have all these things you see today. So don't. That is what I am saying. Now, we want to enhance. Enhance on what you have, because we have it, yes. But you can see how, at some point, it has its own issues. Can we deal with them? Are we able to be bold enough and say, this is something we need to deal with? For me, on police brutality, and I'll say it in a very humble way today to my police officers. Police officers are disgruntled. They feel very disappointed. They have decided we will show our anger in a different way. And I want to tell the government, honestly, listen to these issues of the police. Let us stop this ignoring. Yet there's something they are communicating and we are not following through. I know they have challenges of their pay slip, just like any other person. But for them, it has been very painful. They have challenges even on how we handle them. The government came in and promised them many things, as much as they have their own entangles as government. Because, you know, sometimes I sit here and I wonder, in 2022, I was telling everyone something else. And now we are trying to hold the country, and you're telling us, oh, ODM, CG what? We are holding for you a country you decided to take us through. And you told us this was the best. So you can't come when you are fighting two brothers, you want to mix us in again. No, we were not part. We told you. You told us no. And now we are telling you, as when we wanted to run this government, we knew there was a challenge of young people. We knew we needed to sort it out. You told us, no, you know it better. You called us, I don't know, my dynasty. So now, do not take us to your own trouble. Nope. ODM, we will stand for Kenya. We will make it run until 2027. You have the power. You tell us you have the power to change.
But there really is a bloodline.
That is the power we are saying. You wait at 2027. The way you did it at 2022, please do it at that time. For now, let us sort out Kenya so that whoever takes over takes Kenya. But do not take Kenya in rags and pieces and tell us, oh, this country, we are very unpopular. Very unpopular? Who told us the 6.2 or 6.1 people of BABA are still unpopular? We are still with BABA, by the way. We are still with BABA. That is one thing I always find when we come here, people forget. No, the unpopular is where you started. That is where you need to sort and get out into that, and in popular or popular. But this other side, we are still popular. We will hold the country. We are not taking our country to anarchy. That one we are not doing. But we are standing firm for Kenya so that whoever takes over 2027 takes over a country.
But you have to agree with me that the lines...
I was finishing with the police so that government can take...
The opposition is really blood.
This is my opinion. Government, sit down with police, listen to them, let us get... Because there is no way, Eric, today you abduct, you kill in a police station, tomorrow in another police station you are killing. There is something you are communicating.
Are you serious?
There is something you are communicating.
Police are communicating, or rather giving feedback about their well-being by shooting Kenyans from ambulances.
I am just saying,
killing Kenyans
you
in
want to
lawful custody.
You want to use your media language. I've told you, you want to sort out Kenya. Let us agree there is a problem. There is a problem in that sector. There is a problem in all sectors. Fine.
Right.
But then we must think through. And not thinking through by using poisonous words. Because one of the things, today I'll also say, and you'll forgive me, because I'm also in media. I'll say, what would the media want to see the country? How would you wish to see your country? Because even I thought we were all working together to get a solution, honestly. Get a solution for Kenya, because when it gets on fire, all of us will be running. You will not be here telling now Kenya how we are burning. No. So let us agree there is a mess, yes. But we cannot continue using the same poisonous words every day. What is this that we would want to see? Even if the president is the bad one, he will not suffer alone. No. We'll suffer all of us. And then, so the army for the first time takes over Kenya. Is that what we'll want to see? Because even if we remove him today, who takes over? It's the army. It's not a new president. So let's not lie to ourselves. Let us try and tell ourselves we have problems, yes. Right. And these challenges, I have heard you just read. In 2007, we were talking about employment of young people. It means it has been there. It has been there. Right. But we need someone who can sit and now bring a framework. Right. The president has tried to bring a framework, the way Senator Mugatana was saying. Yes, but is it enough? No. I have said here, we need a place to ask ourselves, how many young people are out there who we need to really assist in terms of each of them have their own processes.
All right, let's take some feedback here. Some Kenyans are a bit confused. There's our SMS lines actually are open. 22047 is our SMS line. You can be part of this conversation through that. Oleunwa 001 says, opposition says the government is sponsoring goons to destroy businesses. Then the government says police shoot the goons who touch stations. Then police shoot the goons on the legs and take them to hospital and then court. Then the opposition says the government wants to kill and maim our children. Who is fooling who? Then we have Simon says 1 million donation from the president is the only justice one can receive in our African justice. I think that is in reference to the donations that have been given by politicians to families that have been affected or lost or
the president
or lost their loved ones. The president is a politician, right?
Well, yeah, you say the person who has given the 1 million.
All right, we'll take some of more of that feedback from Kenyans who are watching. But time now for a very short break. It's 8 in the morning on my watch right now. Time now for a very short break, but don't go back. Don't go away. We'll be back here with more, having a discussion on state of the nation with my panelists here, Joe Nyutu, Murang'a Senator. We have Zahid Janda, who's the Nyaribari Chache member of Parliament. Danson Mungatana, who's the senator from Tana River. Beatrice Elachi, of course, who's the member of parliament from Dagoretti North. I interjected her just before I was told we were going for a short break, but we'll come back to you, Mheshimiwa. Very, very briefly, Zahir, your comments on this before we go on that short break. Your comments on this topic that we are having as we wind up this discussion.
I think the truth of the matter is that we will and we should not allow we shouldn't allow our country to be destroyed by retrogressive elements that are seeking shortcuts to rise to power by misusing the youths. That one we shouldn't allow.
Mm-hmm. Senator Danson Mungatana.
On
this issue, we are talking about, how we are responding to the grievances raised by the electorate. I won't call them the youth very deliberately, the electorate. Now they're calling themselves Gen Zote. Now we seem to have the political class on this one hand who don't seem to care if you're in government or opposition or government opposition. Like I've just told Mheshimiwa Elachi, the lines are very, very blurred. What's your take on this? What do you think should be done to come up with a permanent solution to this?
I find it very confusing. We vote for a constitution. We say we are giving people 5 years to represent us because we can't all sit in those seats. And then 2 years down the road, you don't want that person must go. I mean, we have to stop reprobating and approbating at the same time. I think as a nation, we also need political discipline. If the issue is that people feel they are not properly represented, then maybe we can look at the Constitution again and say, like in the US, there is the Congress, which elections are done every 2 years, so it is actually the people's representative. Then there is the Senate, which is 7 years, and it's rotational. So if maybe that is a way forward, we can think about that. But as of now, what our Constitution says is that we have people that we have elected who are supposed to represent us, and when they fail to do what they're supposed to do, there is a process for removing them. Okay. So for me, I think, and then we have a very vibrant media. We have a constitution that allows us to go to the streets in an organized way. If they are not saying what we want them to say, we are able to also say it directly as citizens. So I'm feeling that, yes, there are things that the government needs to do, but in terms of changing or overthrowing government or midterm, you want to do things, you want to go and storm out a governor, I think it's not neat. Okay. We need to organize, like it has been said many times, organize yourself, get your support, and remove the governor if that is the problem. And remove the president if that's the problem, and remove the senator if that's the problem. But we can't use force to run this country. It has there's the Newton's law that says to every force to every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. Right. So don't imagine that because people have kept quiet and you're throwing stones at them, they will continue keeping quiet. And it will start the reactions will come, and maybe you may not be prepared to take those reactions. Right. And I will tell you, for example, those of us who do small businesses, we are not happy with what has happened. So next time, tunajipanga, you get, because I'm feeding my kids from that, and I don't have a quarrel with you, you know. I'm feeding my kids from that mandazi or restaurant or whatever I'm doing. And then you come and destroy it. I think we need to say, let us follow what the Constitution says. The Constitution says people have 5 years. The Constitution says if you don't like the president, there's a way of removing him. You don't like your governor, there's a way of removing him. You don't like your MP, your senator, whatever, there's a way of removing him. And if 5 years are over, you have another opportunity to remove these people. I think, and if they have issues that they are not dealing with, then you can directly do it through media or through organized demonstrations. But you also have to respect other people. So for me, I think if we can just be, follow this constitution, there's a way, there's a solution to these issues. And my prayer is, those who believe in the Gen Z, the young people who believe they can take up leadership, I want to encourage you. Please register as voters. Please come and vie in all our positions. Because our positions are all vacant in 2 years. Please register en masse. If you think the president is a problem, go and remove him. Go and remove your governor. If you think Sakaja is a problem, or in my case, our outgoing governor is a problem, Godana Dado. Just organize yourself, get ready. That's what I did. I mean, when I was elected, I was the youngest until the accident where the ministers died occurred. I mean, I was very young when I was elected. And I went and did my thing. And let me tell you, it's possible. It's possible. Just get yourself organized. But this thing of trying to midway force issues, then you get a reaction that is not really good for all of us. And I really want us to go that direction. Get organized, get organized. By now you should be registering voters. Read about Obama. He was registering voters. They started getting involved seriously in democratic primaries, before the elections, This is what we should be doing now.
Well, thank you for that, Senator. And I want us to wrap this up because I'm told we are out of time. But I have because I'm sitting here on behalf of the viewer, there's a very, very interesting feedback here from Prophet, who says judiciary, executive and parliament belongs to president. I want Senator John Yuto to react to that as we wind this up.
Thank you, but please allow me a minute to... there's this argument by my 3 colleagues here. And I've heard that particular thinking from many of those who support government. 3 of them support government, which is within their right. But this thing of twisting, demos to say that these youths are organized by somebody to overthrow the government, I think is a tired argument. I think it's a very cheap argument. And I think, I wouldn't want to be rude, but I think any leader saying this, I put it to them that they are saying it because they had somebody saying it. But I think we should be realistic. I mean, how do you get to overthrow the government? Mheshimiwa Zahir, when you say that there are people seeking, power through a shortcut, and I've heard that argument many times. I mean, to overthrow the government, you need to have taken over.
That is true.
You need to have taken over. Zahir, you get your time. You need to have taken over the military. You need to have been able to take over even media stations like this one, where you come and announce.
That's what they're trying to do.
You cannot say that because youths are demonstrating and there are criminals infiltrating them, whom you have not taken action against, that there is somebody somewhere who wants to overthrow the government. That's a very cheap argument. My respected former senator and now member of parliament for Dagoretti North, I mean, when she says that ODM is there to stabilize the government at least up to 2027, we have to hold the country together at least up to 2023. She is not honest. Because President Ruto is not Kenya, And I wish they made the same argument that, we need the country at least up to 2027 so that we can stabilize the government. I wish they had that argument or they listened to that argument, they listened to their conscience that time when they were throwing out Rigathi Gachagua.
As a rapper,
I mean, yes, you know, yes, as a rapper.
Rigathi problem.
I mean, let people not sit here and tell us, why don't you give me time? Do I interrupt anybody? I don't interrupt anybody. So please,
Senator
Mugatana, they are just,
no, I'm just saying.
No, Senator Mugatana, you had your time.
No, this issue of Rigathi
is my time. So anyway, Eric, what I'm saying is, you cannot tell us Rigathi Gachagua is a demon, but President Ruto is an angel. Why don't you, Senator Mugatana, what is wrong with you? You are an old legislator. You can be able to wait. You will wait for your time to say what you are saying now. You'll get your time to say what you are saying now. You don't have to interrupt.
Mugatana, kindly, just let your colleague finish here.
So, you know, what they don't want Kenyans to know is that Rigathi Gachagua did not have the goodies. President Ruto has goodies, which is what they are fighting for. It is not that President Ruto is an angel, Rigathi Gachagua was a devil. It is the fact is, President Ruto has the goodies. And that is what is motivating them. And even the arguments you hear here, that's why they cannot even...
I wanted you to react to that feedback.
Let me respond. I did not talk when any one of them was talking.
Allow me to say something.
Let them be civil and wait until their time comes. I did not ask for any point of order. This is not parliament, Mr. Mugatana. So, you know,
I just want the perpetrators, the financiers of mayhem
and Rigathi Gachagua
should go to jail
on one ticket.
No.
Now they want Kenyans to think Rigathi Gachagua is a demon, William Ruto is an angel, who must be protected until 2027. Tell Kenyans the truth. It is the goodies you are getting from President Ruto.
Senator,
so
one last time,
why are they
I just want you to react to that feedback by that Kenyan who thinks that we don't have
allow us to respond to this.
I just want him to.
This is the power of goodies.
You'll also react to that feedback.
The orchestrators, the financiers, the organizers of mayhem, anarchy, whether they were in office before,
I'll give you. I just want us to react.
Must be jailed.
A Kenyan somewhere watching us,
and we are going to do it
very, very serious.
Very soon.
Here, that Kenyan seems to think that the executive has both the legislature and the judiciary. Simple as that. I just want you to react to that, and then I'll also give you an opportunity to react.
Thank you.
To it.
I will not.
Very briefly.
I will not talk about.
In a minute or less.
I will not talk about the judiciary because I don't see it there. But I can tell you, Parliament is compromised because I see it there, and you can see what is happening here. This is what happens in Parliament.
This is part of the compromise.
Anything, because Parliament is compromised by President Ruto. And anything in Parliament, for you to pass any decision in Parliament, of course, you have to do a vote. As we speak now, President Ruto, his Kenya Kwanza legislators, added to ODM legislators. Their numbers, of course, far much outweigh the numbers that oppose the government.
Can I say something?
In a big way.
Thank you.
And so...
You've answered me.
Can I say something?
Thank you.
Can I say something?
But
yes, I'm giving you an
opportunity. It's important for people to be civil, just as a rider. I mean, they talked and talked and talked.
No.
I did not interrupt any. Why do they not want me to make my point?
Thank you,
even if it is outrageous, then they'll get their time.
Can I say something?
That is what a mature debate is about.
Okay. Thank you, Senator Mugatana. React to that, Kenyan. Is Parliament independent?
Let's not.
Is the judiciary independent? In your view,
wait,
kindly.
Eric, let's not be emotional. Politics is not emotional. It's not emotional. I'm telling you, I have won elections, I've lost elections. I ran for governor, I lost. I ran for parliament, I won. I ran for senate, I won. It's not emotional. It's just that it's not the time. So sometimes you control majority, sometimes you don't control majority.
Senator, we are running out of time.
I'm saying, don't be emotional that, you have lost it. I mean, Rigathi, as he's talking now, the fact that you have lost the numbers and support in Parliament doesn't mean that people have been compromised. You just lost the numbers, and don't be emotional. You can't live in politics like that.
Thank you.
Yeah, just accept the situation. Parliament is not compromised. It is just holding a certain opinion that is not the other opinion. That is, it's as simple as that. When we come to voting, if I hold this opinion, it doesn't mean that when I'm voting this way, I'm compromised. When I'm voting the other way, I'm not compromised.
Thank you. Zahir, in 30 seconds or less, Parliament, independent or not?
It's very independent, but please allow me to just say something for 10 seconds. Not even 30, 10 seconds. You can't become president by rotating around the mountain. There is no superior community in Kenya, and we can see that revenge is boiling in someone's blood. The perpetrators, the financiers, the planners, the organizers of mayhem, anarchy, who want to bring down this government. We are asking and calling on the government to hit them hardest, and they should go to jail, led by the former deputy president.
Okay, thank you.
Should be arrested.
Mheshimiwa Beatrice.
I think Parliament is not compromised. You see, what Kenyans forget is that Parliament is the interest. The interest of Dagoretti North is what I take care of.
Okay.
It can be a very bad decision, but as long as it has taken care of Dagoretti North, that's the most important. So that all the members and senators you see, they will always look, what is the interest of our county on this matter?
Okay.
If it is going to affect my county, definitely I will be positive to ensure it does not.
Right.
If it is because it has to be negative and support again, we will do that. But lastly, as I said, it is important for all of us to appreciate. When Kenya goes down, all of us will go down with it. So let's just follow the democracy processes that we have and see how we move. And in an election, you plan. Don't talk too much, because the same person you want to remove is planning.
All right.
And so the day you see him again win, don't come screaming.
Okay.
Because we talk too much, plan.
Okay.
Plan. Keep quiet and do actions. Plan.
Thank you very much,
One
Beatrice
second,
Elachi.
Senator Mugatana impugned that I was
unfortunately,
emotional. I only got
we are
emotional
out of
when
time.
they interjected.
Okay.
If you want a sober debate, wait for every speaker to have their time.
Okay.
And however stinging it is, you get your time to speak about it. That is where emotions come in. For Zahir, if you have any information about anybody who wants to overthrow the government, please.
We are going to come for you guys.
And
I'm sure
this must be a very weak government which can be overthrown by just youths demonstrating on the street.
We are coming for you guys.
I appreciate this government. I
We are coming for you guys.
supporting this government.
Thank you,
come for me, I'm here.
We are coming for
come
you.
for me, I'm here.
Well, thank you very much, Senator.
We know them. We are the government is going to arrest them.
We can have the discussion off camera. We can.
The goodies you are getting.
All right. All right. Thank you very. Thank you. Well, thank you very much, Senator Joe Nyutu, Senator Murang'a County, Senator Danson Mungatana, Tana River, and of course, seated right next to him is Zahir Janda, MP Nyeri Barichache, and of course, the only lady in this panel, Beatrice Elachi, the MP Dagoretti North. Thank you so much for your insights. Yes, but unfortunately, we've run out of time. Time now for a very short break, but don't go away because we still have much more. Keep it here.